that I came second in a men's 10-pin bowling competition. Unfortunately, they discovered it just before the prizes were announced. So with that in mind, I would ask you, we will be having some time to have a little chat while the judges are considering their thoughts later on. So if anybody has an unusual name, or a funny way of how they came upon the name that they have, I'd love to hear it. And if you would volunteer later, I'll buy a gin and tonic later on tonight. Sorry? I'll keep it to that, yeah. We have loads of witnesses anyway. So prior to start this contest, all participants are briefed, and as contest chair, that was one of my duties, and I'm happy to confirm that this is taking place and all the contestants have been briefed. It is the duty of the chief judge to ensure that all the judges, the timers and the counters have been briefed, and our chief judge today is John Cox. Where's John? John. So John, can you confirm that the judges, the timers and the counters have been briefed?
Madam Contest Chair, the judges, counters and timers have been briefed.
Thank you, John. So at the time of the briefing, a draw was held for the speaking order, and the order is as follows. First speaker is Larry Power. Larry Power. The second speaker is David Cullinan. David Cullinan. The third speaker is Gillian Caldecott. Gillian Caldecott. The fourth contestant is Peter Green. Peter Green. The fifth contestant is Andrew Bennett. Andrew Bennett. And the sixth contestant in the second contest today is John Webber. John Webber. So to give you just an overview of the afternoon, for the contest, our test speaker will deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech. Timers, please time the speech, and we will announce the timing of the speech for the benefit of the contestants. Sergeant at Arms will then escort the contestants to a room nearby, where they will be given 5 minutes to organise their notes. The Sergeant at Arms will then collect the notes, and they will be returned to each contestant as they re-enter the room to present their evaluation. The timing of the evaluation will be 2 to 3 minutes. Following each contestant, there will be a minute of silence to allow the judges to mark their ballots. And after the last speaker, there will be 2 minutes of silence to allow our judges to tally their ballots. During the 1 minute of silence, the Sergeant at Arms will bring the next speaker to the door according to the speaker order determined by the earlier draw. Also, once the speaker has presented their evaluation, they may remain in the room. Please give your full attention to all the contestants and limit distractions, taking any flash or audible photography or any other distractions while a contestant is speaking is not allowed. I would ask you please as well to turn off your mobile phones or leave them on silent if they don't vibrate, but if they do vibrate, if you would mind turning them off. Once our guest speaker or a contestant has been introduced, our Sergeant at Arms will restrict entry to the room. If you need to leave the room, please wait until the minute of silence between presentations or until all of the presentations have been completed. Sergeant at Arms, if you will man the door to restrict entry once a contestant has been introduced, we are ready to begin our evaluation contest. So let the contest begin. I would now like to introduce our test speaker. And our test speaker today is Dermot O'Brien, with a speech entitled Sera Sera. Sera Sera, Dermot O'Brien.
Hey, Sera, Sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Hey, Sera, Sera. Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, what you've just heard is a song made famous by the Hollywood actress Doris Day. Some of you may have remembered her. Maybe a show of hands there. You're a lot more youthful looking than you look. Well, in the lyrics that you just heard, there was a statement, the future is not ours to see. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to consider whether you believe that statement to be true or false. But before you do that, I'd like to share with you an article I recently read online by a futurologist who discussed what he thought might be the next 20 inventions that will happen over the next decade. Now, to give you an idea of the type of things he was talking about related to developments in technology and medical science, he talked about a cure for cancer, the development of super high-speed internet access, a cure for Alzheimer's, three-dimensional printing, and the development of the pop-up business phenomenon. Now, that's just a flavour of the type of reading I enjoy online. And I'd like to share with you my thoughts on three of those in the time that I have today. So starting off with the three-dimensional printing. The futurologist is predicting that the bulk of the goods that we buy today within the next 10 years will be manufactured on a technology that has been around for some decades. And here we're talking about the technology of the printing world. And in the manufacturing countries of the world, like India, China, Germany, there will be large, sophisticated printing machines. But instead of ink, they will have other mediums, such as glass, plastic, even human tissue. And so perhaps the next time you change your plastic chairs and tables in your back garden, they may simply have been printed from one of these machines in these developing manufacturing countries. And there will be, according to the futurologist, less sophisticated printers for local businesses and national countries, but there'll even be consumer three-dimensional printers for our own homes. And so, using the human tissue as an example, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that soon we may be able to acquire enhanced body parts simply by printing them. So instead of going down to the gym and working out and all the toil that entails, you simply walk up to your high street, go to the printer, stop printing, and order a new set of abs. A six-pack. Now, is that not futuristic or what? Moving on, I'd like to share my thoughts with you in relation to the development of the pop-up business phenomenon. You know, for a business to truly qualify as a pop-up business, it has to meet certain criteria. That criteria start with and include they must make use of an empty or underused space. They must not aim for permanence or be easily removed. Or indeed, they must be unique or special in some way. But you know, the pop-up business phenomenon really, I believe, is here already. For in North America, they have pop-up cinemas, pop-up cafes. And apparently what we're going to find in the next 10 years is that they will be part of our everyday life. But I believe the pop-up model has been around for centuries. All you have to do is ask a married woman. Take my wife Anne, for example. Let's measure the criteria of a pop-up business and see how she measures up to the criteria. Let's see now, what was the first one again? Make use of an empty or underused space. Well, married to a true blonde for 25 years, I continue to get great use out of my wife. What was the other one? Oh yeah, not aim for permanence. Must be easily removed. Well, Anne knows, in my house, it's my way or the highway. And most of the other ones be unique or special in some way. Oh, that's Anne, all right. She can be a real beaut sometimes. But moving on, before I get into more trouble, I'd like to finally talk about the cure for Alzheimer's. Oh yeah, difficulty in remembering. Surely there's a case to be made for wanting and needing to forget. Who wants to remember every mistake, every silly antic, every embarrassing moment? I believe the human mind induces forgetfulness for a reason. You know, I'm reminded of an old ditty made famous by that Dublin singer Ronnie Drew. And it goes a little bit like this. It's a conversation between a wife and her loving husband. Now, it's mainly a conversation where the wife does most of the talking, but you get my message. It starts like this. Dublin couple, strong Dublin accent, and it goes a little bit like this. Do you remember, Jem, when we first stepped out? You and your pinstripe suit, with your shorts sticking out. But you really look lovely, except you wouldn't open your mouth. Do you remember, Jem? And he replies, do I remember? Will I ever forget? And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is my contention that all we need to do to look into the future is simply look at the present and the past. And I ask you now to consider that question I posed at the start. Answer it in your own mind. Is the future ours to see? Madam Countess Chair.
Thank you, Dermot. Can I ask our timers for the time of the speech, please?
Madam Contest Chair, the speech was 6 minutes and 14 seconds.
Thank you. I would now like to ask the Sergeant at Arms to escort the contestants from the room